A mad scientist injected King Cobra DNA into his assistant's body. Before long, strange changes began to occur in the assistant's body. Scales slowly grew on his skin, and his head began to transform into that of a snake. Just as he was about to turn completely into a snake, the assistant lost control and let out a fart. The serum inside his body evaporated completely as it was expelled. The human experiment was forced to stop midway. In the end, the assistant became a bizarre half-human, half-snake creature. Upon seeing the result, the scientist, Carl, was furious. This was completely different from the experimental outcome he had anticipated. So, without a second thought, he sold this incomplete experiment to a circus for $75. Once at the circus, this half-human, half-snake creature quickly became a sensation. He garnered massive attention from the audience. Although he retained some human consciousness, he had completely lost the ability to speak. Most spectators assumed he was simply someone wearing a costume, while others were convinced they were witnessing a genuine monster. But no one could have imagined that this creature had once been an ordinary person. The circus also reaped substantial profits thanks to this unique performer. Meanwhile, Carl hadn't stopped his research. Through a friend's introduction, he hired a new assistant. Soon, the new assistant, David, drove 50 miles into the deep mountains. This was the experimental base where Carl had been working for years. Upon arrival, David met Carl's daughter, Christina. Christina was responsible for caring for the various snakes at the base. David was immediately taken with the strikingly beautiful Christina. Later, Carl gave David a tour of the entire laboratory and its research findings. The room was filled with numerous bizarre creatures bred through hybridization. Despite being there for the first time, David felt no fear. Instead, he was filled with curiosity about everything before him. He had always had a penchant for obscure and unusual research, which was precisely why he had chosen to work at this laboratory. Carl explained to David that his research centered on snakes. The facility housed a wide variety of venomous snakes. He had been attempting to transplant snake genes into other organisms to observe the resulting changes in their physiology. At the same time, he warned David to be extremely careful while working here. Any of the venomous snakes here could be life-threatening. After speaking, he picked up a black mamba and demonstrated how to extract venom from the snake's body. Carl told David that if bitten by this snake, a person would die within an hour. The symptoms of the poisoning closely resemble a heart attack, and most victims do not survive long enough to receive antivenom. For safety reasons, Carl suggested injecting David with a specially formulated snake venom antibody. Naive David didn't suspect a thing, and immediately agreed to the proposal. But he didn't know that the liquid in the syringe wasn't an antibody at all, but rather the first-stage King Cobra gene serum. David even mistakenly believed Carl was genuinely looking out for him, and was deeply moved, completely unaware that he had already become a test subject in an experiment. Later, Carl took David to see the mongoose, the snake's natural predator. Upon spotting a snake, the mongoose would immediately emit a rapid, shrill cry. Even the naturally ferocious King Cobra would appear deeply intimidated by it. After dinner, David suddenly felt a heavy-headedness and physical discomfort. Carl deliberately fabricated an explanation, telling David this was a normal reaction to the antivenom injection. He also mentioned that a fever might develop during the night, but assured him that a good night's sleep would restore him to normal. Before long, David fell into a deep sleep. In his dreams, he saw all sorts of bizarre visions. When David finally woke up,